Or maybe his knee was there, uh, not exerting pressure, but so that he couldn't lift his head. His knee could be simply there, so he can't raise up his head and try to get up. So from the videotape, from my watching it twice, I couldn't determine it.
How about those riots, huh?
So the fifth riot in a row, and not one pair of work boots have been stolen.
Have you seen Mark Dice's latest piece on that?
Yeah, that was good.
Was that amazing or what?
Uh-huh.
Now, first of all, here's what we don't know, okay? We have a videotape where the cop's knee was on or near the guy's head, neck, or upper part of his shoulder where it meets the neck. Okay? And then he died. We know that the guy was disorderly and was being arrested. We know so far that it appears that he was under the influence of something. Right? Now, let's say the way the cop was handling the situation, where he was using his body weight and pushing down on his neck and pressing down on the guy's carotid artery, and he died. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. I can't tell from the videotape. We haven't even had a coroner's result as to what the cause of death was. Maybe the cop had something to do with his death, but maybe not. The cop may not have been putting any pressure on his neck whatsoever, that it was just touching his neck to prevent him from trying to get up. Right? But even if the cop was guilty of wrongful conduct, did the cop deliberately set out to harass a black man and then tried to kill him, or was deliberately attempting to harm him? Do we know that? No. These people want any excuse to freaking riot and rob local businesses and burn businesses. Meanwhile, every freaking week in Chicago, we've got 20, 30, 40, 50 people shot, killed. And we don't hear a peep out of these people.
Yeah, well, that's why it's always best to wait till after the trial.
Duncan, what do you think about the riots?
I'm not surprised at this. We've seen this happen many times before. We how shall I put this? There's no reason to believe that the death of this individual was on racial grounds. None whatsoever. We don't even know yet as to what the cause of death is. Okay. We have a video of a guy where the police officer apparently has his knee adjacent or on top of his either neck or upper back. I couldn't tell from the video whether he was exerting pressure and force on the neck or not, or that it was just positioned there so he wouldn't lift his head and try to get up. We don't know what the cause of death is. Okay. We don't know if the cop was guilty of, anything illegal, let alone anything that would be against police protocol. And so this is just an excuse for certain groups of people who want to riot and pillage. Right? You know what? They could protest by, let's say, putting stuff in the street and lighting in a fire. You're going to go into innocent storekeepers in your community and steal their property and set some of their places on fire? You call that protest?
Yeah, I'm on CNN's video, and these comments are like, well, if they would just arrest the officers, we wouldn't do this. And it's like, whatever happened to the concept of we don't negotiate with terrorists?
Well, if it was Barack Obama, he would give them billions of dollars in cash, wouldn't he?
Are they still rioting? I thought that stopped yesterday.
I don't know.
Oh, they decided to burn the city down.
Give me a second. I'm going to see if it's still ongoing.
Yeah, well, these no wonder no wonder they behave this way. Okay. I mean, I'm just tired of all these instances where they cry racism where there's no racism, right?
Well, like I'm not necessarily on the officer side. I have my criticisms
I
of how
don't.
some of these
I'm not
officers
on anybody's
behave.
side.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what went on. Okay. Look, if it's clear that he was exerting pressure on his carotid artery, causing him to die, all right, well then we have a problem there. Was it intentional? Okay. Was the police officer acting recklessly? That's for the courts to adjudicate and the police department. But look, this rush to judgment. This guy was not targeted because he was black. He was under the influence and disorderly. He was taking it. I don't know all the details. Okay, maybe the police officer was using unjustified pressure and force on him. Maybe it was the cause of it. I don't know. Or maybe his knee was there, not exerting pressure, but so that he couldn't lift his head. Was it a violation of protocol? I don't know. But they're gonna smash windows of shopkeepers who had nothing to do. That's how you protest. If they really want to protest, why aren't they protesting lighting fires in front of City Hall?
Oh, they burned the police department down.
They're looting. They're looting. Target. What does Target have to do with this?
Well, there's just like this. There's a metaphorical target on all these black people. That's why.
I remember a couple years ago there was another riot like this.
Ferguson, did you see Target yesterday where they had carts and they had big screen TVs loaded up?
Yeah, they looted Target and then they burned it to the ground.
They're looting places and everything.
I'm sorry. You want to know something? These are not protests. These are people who are taking an opportunity of time of unrest, whether that unrest is justified or not, to pillage. Okay, these people are animals. They're not protesters. Because if you're going to protest, you're going to march in the street. Maybe you might light a tire on fire in front of City Hall. Lighting a police station on fire. That this police station is there to protect the community. Okay, these are not protests. These are animals that are anarchists.
To be fair, not all of them are though. I think it's a small minority of the protesters that are being blown out of proportion.
No. There's a place for protest, okay? And these people who are going along with it, once you start seeing people violently react, then you leave the scene. They're not leaving the scene. They're encouraging and facilitating this rioting. Rioting is not protest, okay?
So by me being at the 3rd precinct and protesting and seeing them throw and start it on fire.
I don't trust a word you say in here because you told me you watched him being murdered. No, you didn't. Your mind superimposed that on the video because I saw the videotape. I didn't see a murder. I don't know what the cause of death is.
I just looked it up and his left fucking knee was on it.
I watched the video, dude.
I just did too.
Okay, you know what? I'm done
with
it.
I'll link you.
The fact that you don't overtalk me. The fact that you come in here with a Black Power avatar tells me all I need to know about you. Okay? Okay? You're done. You're gone.
Maybe I'm missing something, but why does it matter which knee was used to hold the man down? Am I missing something?
It wasn't a matter of which knee. He was talking about which knee
the issue
holding the pressure on his neck
from
on
the
his back.
videotape. From looking at the videotape, I could not discern whether the weight of the officer's body was on his right or his left knee. Now, if all of his weight is leaning on his right knee, but his left knee is either adjacent to or on top of his neck, that wouldn't constitute that he's pushing down on his neck, blocking his carotid artery. Okay? His knee could be simply there so he can't raise up his head and try to get up. So from the videotape, from my watching it twice, I couldn't determine it. And this, okay, what are you doing back here? I told you to get out of here. Now I'm going to ban you. Okay. He said, oh, he saw him get murdered. Okay. We didn't see a murder there because we don't even have a coroner's report.
Yeah, I do.
This is the same thing all over again with Rodney King, Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin, and several other cases.
And just because he happens to have his left knee on top of him doesn't necessarily mean he's putting all of his body weight on that particular side.
Doesn't mean there's any weight on it. He could have had his hand there.
It doesn't even look like he's leaning on the left side either. So it kind of his his little theory is kind of questionable.
When they picked him up, okay, when they picked him up, there was a stain from liquid, what looked like came from his mouth. Okay. Now I heard reports that he was intoxicated. I don't know that that's the case. Right. Now, the guy could have. Talk to any emergency room doctor. Right. Yeah. Welcome to our room, Eric. Would you like to say hello? Eric, would you like to say hello? Last chance, Eric. Yeah, you know who that is? Yeah, that's the George Floyd guy.
Oh, really?
Okay, let me also put a little bit in for the George Floyd. Here is his past. George Floyd moved to Minneapolis in 2014 for a fresh start after being released from a prison in Houston, Texas, after serving 5 years for an aggravated robbery.
Wasn't it armed robbery?
Yes. They don't say armed, but it was armed robbery. He served 5 years for armed robbery in Houston, but he was turning his life around. Yeah. Why was he resisting arrest?
Apparently he wasn't, though.
He wasn't resisting arrest?
Apparently, yeah.
Are you sure?